What's good, y'all? This is your boy Joe Cliff, and what I'm gonna need for y'all to do is to hit that like button, hit that share button, comment a little something, make sure you subscribe, and get these videos running. We gotta get these analytics up, we gotta get it running through the algorithms, and we gotta get it going. Make sure you tap in. Joe Cliff, outside looking in, all that good stuff. You already know the Joe Show. We rocking. Thank y'all. We are. What's good, y'all? You already know. This is your boy Joe Cliff. We are here. We are rocking. Hope everybody's healthy, happy, prosperous, and blessed. I hope everybody's been doing everything they've been having to do to better themselves and those around them. You know what I'm saying? Make sure each one teach one. You go on, you do something good, somebody do something good for you. You put good vibes and energy into the atmosphere. It will come back to you loud and clear. What's good? We're here, and you already know what we're about to talk about. It's ringing bells. People are in an uproar. These old guys got their panties in a bunch of old dudes. And I don't use the term old dudes too loosely because I'm old myself. I'm 30 years old, so I consider myself a little bit older in age, things like that. But a lot of these older dudes got their panties in a bunch. They're screaming, they're on Twitter. Nas. The relevancy conversation. Let's see. Oh my gosh. And this is no bias. This is just, honestly, I'm probably the best person to actually talk about this due to my allegiance to Nas, due to my fandom to Nas. So if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Hold on, let me get this right real quick. There we go. That's a little better. So if you know, you know. Nas, I just did a whole album review talking about how Nas is better than Jay-Z. People don't give Nas his just due and all that stuff. But if we're talking about, well, first and foremost, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna put it right here in the video. 21 Savage says Nas isn't really relevant to today's music culture and to today's standards of music, I believe. So hold on, let me put that clip right there so I don't misquote him.
I'm saying relevant though. I don't feel like he's relevant. He's not relevant. He just has a loyal ass fan base.
Thank you.
He just has a loyal fan base that and he still make good ass music. But like,
right, so 21 Savage says that, and the world is in an uproar. People are taking it as slight, as disrespect, things like that. 21 said he didn't. The crazy thing is, he said, oh, he's a great artist, he makes good music, he has a strong fan base. You know what I'm saying? But as far as right now, the sound, what's going on, the demand, he is not relevant. And honestly, if you look up the word relevant, to the definition, he is completely true. And we're going to talk about it. So Nas, this, like I said in my last video, if you haven't seen it already, make sure you go check out my KD3 album review. It's fire. I get a little in depth. It's about 30 minutes long. So, you know what I'm saying? Go check that out. But since this, I give it about 6 years. So I would say, no, 4 years. Yeah, because I would say the Nasir album, since 2018, that Nasir album to now, the whole narrative on Nas, his career, what he means to hip hop and all that has changed, and it's due to what he's been able to do. And we need to give a lot of that credit too to Hit Boy, because Hit Boy was able to draw something out of Nas that we haven't heard in a long time, honestly, probably since the late 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s. So big credits to Hit Boy and Nas for being able to get into this creative atmosphere and this creative space where they're able to generate, you know, this type of music at such a high level, but at a fast pace. So from Nasir to now, where we have KD3. KD3 was just released. Like I said, go check out my album review right here on my channel. But that was just released, and the music, sonically, the lyrics, lyrically, everything about that album is perfection. It is hip hop. It is the pinnacle of hip hop. So you have the conversation now, whereas where does Nas, like, I don't know if it's like where he stands, but that's where a lot of the I think that's where a lot of people are getting lost in translation, because a lot of people keep talking about, oh, Nas is relevant, but to the true definition, right now in this culture, in this time, in this space, occupied time, space, or whatever, Nas isn't really relevant to what's going on. There was no demand for a Nas album. There was none of that. You know what I'm saying? He literally just drops his album. He does what he wants to do. Like, Nas could check out right now for like 2 years and then come back and do it again. You know what I'm saying? So relevancy more or less is the demand, the production, the culture shifting, all that stuff that goes into, are you relevant? And honestly, a lot of people are killing 21 too, when he could actually, in fact, speak on certain things like this, because a lot of people, they don't pay attention to the key parts. You know what I'm saying? Because when you talk about top rappers and the best rappers right now and the rappers that's actually putting up numbers, 21's been doing this himself for a while now. This isn't his first, you know what I'm saying, big album release first week. His last album did Savage Mode 2. That did I think almost 200K first week, 171 or something like that the first week. I Am over I Was, you know what I'm saying? That did 130 the first week. You know what I'm saying? His album before that did about 90 to 100 the first week. So it's not like he's talking from a place where it's just hate or he's not where he is. It's just a lot of people don't talk about 21 Savage when it comes to the numbers and things like that. It's because he doesn't really, you know, and it's kind of weird. I think that's a lot of the problem too. Like, people's not used to hearing him talk like this, like talk about being more braggadocious. And I think Drake really did bring that out of him, because 21 Savage, for the most part, is a very laid back, you know what I'm saying? If you see the interviews, if you watch the behind the scenes stuff like that, he's very laid back, cool, chill, you know, well-mannered, happy type guy. But he never really bragged upon the numbers. He never really bragged about where his place in hip hop is. He never really bragged about what he's done and things like that. So a lot of people like really get it misconstrued, and they don't understand that if you look at 21 Savage's numbers, he probably is a top 5, top 10 act right now in hip hop. Like, seriously, if you go look at them numbers. They just did 411K first week, and I think it was like 131,000 in pure sales or something like that. Like, that type of stuff is unfathomable, where you have Nas who could just do it when he wants to. And that's where people kind of misconstrue the legacy versus relevancy part. So with Nas's legacy, like, and that's another thing, like, we're gonna be all the way real. Just before this Nasir album, people really was like, people would play Nas. Like, a lot of people would play Nas, and that's why I kind of love this King Disease, the King Disease series, and just him hooking up with Hit Boy, because it kind of changed the trajectory of his legacy. Because before all of this, a lot of people were saying, yes, Nas is a great rapper, one of the greatest rappers, but he has one of the worst beat selections, which makes some of his songs hard to go back and digest and things like that. Like, there was a lot of critiques and things like, you know what I'm saying, things like that upon Nas. And now that he's found his sound, he's found his pocket, him and Hit Boy are doing things that hasn't been done. A lot of people are starting to forget that fact, that this was just 6 years ago when you had all these critiques about Nas and where he stands and how Jay-Z will always be greater than Nas. Like, I was the only one, like, seriously, we're really gonna talk about it. I was the only one for the longest now that's been saying, yo, Nas over Jay-Z, Nas over Jay-Z, Nas over Jay-Z. This King Disease 3 album got y'all feeling that way now. But you can't, like, bro, it's the legacy versus relevancy argument. So with Nas is like, I'm getting off track. I'm getting a little excited because these guys are really starting to piss me off. I be knowing what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I understand music, bro. Like, this is me. This is my life. Like, seriously, this is really my life. So like I was saying, relevancy versus legacy. So what Nas is able to do these past 4 or 5 years from the Nasir album to now, it completely changed the trajectory of his legacy. So now people have Nas, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people now have Nas over Jay-Z and things like that. So now you're getting the conversation where somebody like 21, he says what he says, and honestly, he's kind of correct. You have these conversations, you have these arguments, you have this dialogue. Like, I literally seen somebody say, oh, Nas been doing this since 90 something, almost 30 years, like, what do you mean relevancy? That's legacy. He's been doing it for almost 30 years, and now that, I wouldn't say he's even at the tail end of his career, but now he's in a place where he could actually do what he wants. There's no label. You got to remember, Nas has always been signed to a label, whether it's Def Jam, I think it was Jive or something he was signed to before that or something like that. Don't take my words on that. But Nas has always been signed to a label. He hasn't really been able to maneuver and do the things that he wants to do as far as his artistry and musically. That's why in the latter years, you see these big breaks in between his albums and what he's been doing musically, because he was getting the business in order. So now that he has the business in order, it's not really a relevancy thing, because Nas will always be Nas. And that's where I get the legacy part from. You know what I'm saying? It's not whether he's relevant or not. It's his legacy that's making him able to do what he's able to do. And then he comes out and he delivers. Like, you have some people, like, seriously, there's some people that could drop there's some artists that's been in the game for 30 years right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say no names. They're huge, but they drop music and it falls on deaf ears because it's not great music. And I'm talking about superstar celebrity status. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna just say one of my favorite artists of all time, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg still at this point, at this time, in this era, he's still dropping music at a high rate. He's still rapping at a high rate, but everything else he's doing outside of music is overshadowing. Like, you see Snoop Dogg on every other TV show. You see him on Corona commercials. He's selling this. He's doing this. You know what I'm saying? He's hosting this. You know, it's all that other stuff. But the music tends to fall on deaf ears, and people's not really picking up the music like that because of, you know what I'm saying? It's not really. I wouldn't say it's lackluster, but it's not up to the abilities that people want. Whereas you have Nas, who's pretty much been doing the same thing. He has his Hennessy deals. He's invested in the Ring camera. Nas's investments and stuff outside of rap, he doesn't have to rap no more. So it's not a relevancy thing. It's, at this point, it's an artistry and a legacy thing, especially for Nas. And I think Nas himself would say it's more about his legacy right now than relevancy. Nas never really been the rapper to chase relevance or anything like that, because when he comes out, it's always going to be heard. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, it's always going to be heard, because he always has a message, and he's always trying to relay a message, and he's empowering and uplifting and things like that. So y'all niggas need to cut it out. 3 Letterman. Yeah, I'm dropping names. 3 Letterman. Who else? There's a bunch of guys that's trying to kill 21 right now. Even after 21 came out and said, oh, I would never disrespect our legends like that, I was just stating, you know, saying what he's saying. And these guys are still coming out. They have hatred in their hearts. And they're ready to let it go. But nah, honestly, it's really a dope conversation, and it's kind of an interesting conversation, especially now because of what Nas is doing and how he's able to do it and how he's accomplishing in it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy what he's able to do. Like I said, at 50 years old now, and at the level he's rapping at. And then that's another thing. Honestly, it may be irrelevant in 21 Savage's world because it's two totally different types of music. So you have Nas, who is a lyrical, I wouldn't say backpack, but he's a boom bap, lyrical, real, you know what I'm saying, wordsy, artistry, message driven rapper, where you have 21 Savage, where he's honestly, he's getting to that point too, because if you listen to the albums, each album lyrically, each album with as far as his message and what he's trying to get across and stuff like that, that's also leveling up and advancing, you know what I'm saying? So he may just even be seeing this from an artist standpoint, who knows? But it's two totally different types of music, two totally different worlds and things like that. So maybe it may be irrelevant to 21 Savage because that's not his world. Like, seriously. You listen to the Her Loss album and then you go listen to King's Disease 3. Two totally different sounds, two totally different targets, two totally different just blueprints and formats to how the album's laid out. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say that Nas is relevant in that world, and who's to say 21 Savage is relevant in where Nas's world is? You know what I'm saying? And then, like, a lot of people is slighting, and that's why I brought up the numbers. I'm not even a numbers person. The numbers thing is just something that you guys love. Me, I just go off of strictly, is it good or not? Is it hot or not? Is it trash or not? You know what I'm saying? So if you really want to be technical, even with these King's Disease 3s, if you line up each project, you know what I'm saying, 21 Savage has been trumping Nas as far as sales, especially first week sales and stuff like that. Like I said, his last solo album without Drake, 171, almost 200K. That his solo album before that, 131, I think 140K. You know what I'm saying? Most of his solo projects are almost platinum and stuff like that. So the conversation, like, I think a lot of people just forget. Well, it's not even forget. They just don't want to, you know, admit to the fact that 21 is where he's at and he could say these type of things because of the work that he's put in. And you guys just ain't used to it because he's mostly quiet. I see a lot of people saying that too. Oh, 21 Savage is talking a lot because of this Drake album. No, he really just never really had much to say. He's always been like that. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And again, this is not to bash Nas. This isn't to bash 21 Savage. This isn't to bash anyone. This is just perspective and understanding, because a lot of people don't have it, and a lot of people don't even want to open their eyes and look and, you know what I'm saying, talk about it. It's just more, there is no, that's the thing nowadays too. There is no debate. It's just the argument. There's no middle ground. There's no, like, for a debate, a good debate, I'm supposed to be able to pick up something from what you were saying to me, and you're supposed to pick up on some stuff that from what I was saying to you. That's how a good debate works. Now it's literally an argument. If you don't agree with somebody, they'll try to argue you down. Like, they don't want to hear what you have to say. There is no perspective. There is no back and forth. It's just, I'm right. And I never been that type of person. I just give my opinion, and my opinion could be right or wrong. And honestly, I'm open for suggestions, and I'm open into listening to what other people got to say. Just like even with my Nas video that I just did the album review, a lot of people was like, oh, you missed these, this and that, you know what I'm saying? And they was just giving me little tips and keys and stuff like that, and I took it into consideration, and they're right, you know what I'm saying? It's just having an open mind and stuff like that, and a lot of people don't have an open mind, or they don't even just want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. But this Nas and this 21 debate, it got HipHop in a frenzy right now, Twitter in a frenzy. Got a lot of old guys going crazy right now, talking wild. Like, it's nuts, man. What do y'all think though? The relevancy conversation. How does that work? What do y'all guys think about it? And like, how do you feel about it? Is Nas relevant for right now? Is Nas what's needed right now? Like, what do you think? Let me know what you guys think. Maybe, like, that's a lot of, like, I always say, maybe I could be tripping. Maybe I don't understand, or maybe I'm not seeing something. But for me, when it comes to this conversation or this debate, it's more so legacy versus relevancy. And for me, Nas's legacy out trumps him trying to be relevant or even wanting to be relevant. That was never Nas's flow. So I don't know, y'all. What I do know is hip hop is on fire right now. The Grammys just released their Grammy nominations and all this other stuff. Oh my goodness, they put, bro, Renaissance is in the R&B category. Nicki Minaj is not nominated for her Super Freak song that's been going crazy. Lotto and Glorilla got nominated for a Grammy for their singles. Like, bro, this Grammy talk is gonna be going on until the Grammys actually is, and I think that's in January. Yeah, that's in January. So this is gonna be ringing a lot of bells, and it's gonna be a buzzword for a little while. The Grammys is definitely gonna be a buzzword. So we're gonna be delving deep into that too. I'm gonna go check out all the categories, and we're gonna, break it down a little bit, just a little bit. We're gonna break it down and see what's going on. What else we got going on? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a top 10 video that's coming up soon. My top 10 albums of the year. I know it's not the end of the year yet. We probably got probably a couple more releases before December. Well, before that December, the end of December week or whatever. So, but as far as right now, I wouldn't even, now albums that's about to drop in December and stuff like that, I wouldn't even have in my nominations for albums of the year, because in order to be an album of the year or something like that, you have to be able to sit with that, see how it resonates, see what it does. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to be doing my top 10 album of the year list very soon. That's going to be coming within the next week. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about this Grammys situation more in depth. I'm going to do another video on that. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about the Nas and 21 situation. Was 21 out of pocket? Is he wrong? Let me know. It's your boy Joe Cliff. You're on the outside looking in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell, because you should already be subscribed. And we out of here. Make sure you guys be blessed, healthy, happy, prosperous. One.